Welcome to another episode of Courtship Matters with Amy K. In our last episode, we talked about the need for courtship before getting married. Now, when a male and a female who agree to get married, they need a time where they need to have to know themselves, know their family, make plans. That period is what we refer to as courtship. And I mentioned in our last discussion that the period of courtship doesn't necessarily guarantee the success of a marriage. What guarantees marital bliss is the decision of both individuals to ensure that the relationship works. It's not the responsibility of the wife or the responsibility of the husband to have a good marriage. Both of you must contribute to your own quota to having a good relationship. Today, I'm going to discuss one of the mistakes young people make in courtship that eventually affect your marriage. Now, remember, this is a true story. A young lady, Mary, when she was courting Peter, Peter was that kind of partner who will snoop around her phone, find out who is calling her, check her inboxes to find out who is texting her, question her movement for the day and who she was hanging around with. At some point, Mary was uncomfortable about it and thought about ending the relationship. But a few friends told her that was true love, that only someone who cares about you would check on you that way, just to be sure that they are safeguarding their property. Now, that was the mistake Mary made. Well, eventually, when Mary got married, a year later, she regretted not putting attention to that attitude of Peter. The mistake is people who caught other people with obsessive behavior. Obsessive people can be manipulative. They can be domineering. Now, don't mistake that with care or with love. Someone who loves you will think about your happiness and will do things that will make you happy. They will not deliberately pry into your inbox, into your phone, especially when they know that it's something that makes you unhappy. So if you have a partner who is obsessed, who queries you on every phone call, it's also a sign of distrust. There are some obsessive behavior that I have listed out, and I'll just mention some. The first sign you discover from someone who have obsessive behavior in courtship is the person is manipulative. He or she does things so that you would do and act, or respond according to what they say, undermining whether you are comfortable with it or not. An obsessive person would also feel insecure. They always think that you're cheating on them, you're seeing someone else, you prefer someone over them because they just want you for themselves. And they're also extremely jealous. Extremely jealous. If they see you with a new shirt or a new shoe, they always think someone bought it for you without first thinking that, well, you could have bought it for yourself. Now, that kind of relationship also lacks trust. I believe that in any courtship relationship that your partner does not trust you, you shouldn't even go ahead into marriage, because it's not going to stop there. It will not stop because you're tying the knot. It will even get worse. Also, someone who is controlling or who belittles you. Now, I am not saying that, well, because someone is controlling, belittles you, manipulates you, and does all the things that I've said, then you end the relationship. If that partner is willing to make the necessary adjustment, maybe see a counselor or see a therapist, or consciously make the adjustment, yeah, by all means you can proceed. But if you have someone who sees nothing wrong with manipulating you or even defending you, my friend, let me tell you, when you get into marriage, it's going to get worse and you will regret not taking this precaution. Also, when you have someone, you're cutting someone who wants to decide who you should be friends with, who you should go out with, who you should hang out with, or wants you to cut away from all your friends because they think that your friends are not good for you, or they feel threatened that you're friends with that person, then you may be cutting someone who has an obsessive behavior, or someone who tells you, well, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself, or if you leave me, I'm going to kill you too. Or someone who tells you, well, if you break this relationship, you will marry someone else, I won't marry someone else, both of us will remain unmarried. Those are dangerous kind of persons that you should not hurry into tying the knot with. Allow them, get help, see a counselor, see a therapist. Well, you would, even though it's a Christian courtship discussion, I haven't said prayer, because sometimes these things don't just go away by just praying or laying on hands or fasting. They need to be acknowledged that they are there, and a professional needs to sit with that person to ensure that they overcome it. I'll see you in our next episode. Bye for now.